all things home design, enjoy Homestar with me, Shayna Blaze. All the ideas and inspiration you need for your home, DIY design projects, and expert advice.
Red Energy's podcast lifestyle series, available from wherever you get your podcasts and the SEN app.
Hello, it's Gary Lyon.
And Tim Watson here.
Thanks for listening to today's SEN Breakfast podcast. What do you think of it today, Whispers?
Cracker. Absolute cracker, Gary.
Barrel of laughs. Had a great chat to Peter and Tracy Mackay. I love that. The parents of twins, Ben and Harry, will be playing against each other. You must have a listen to that. My favourite interview of the year, nearly.
Oh, they were a lot of fun. And we spoke to basketball great too, Lauren Jackson, who went to 4 Olympic Games, and she had a lot to say about the different game that they play at the Olympics compared to the domestic competitions around the world. That was a great chat.
Across to Tokyo, touch base with Aussie triathlete Aaron Royal, who just got off his bike.
Yes, he did. And Johnny from Epping was again in fine form today. We talked a lot about concrete and other things today. And he joined us, of course, to give his take on the week. And, of course, the Mackay brothers playing against each other too.
Hope you can join us live on Monday from 6. In the meantime, have a great weekend.
The country is back racing strong. Book now at country.racing.com. Kogan credit cards, no annual fees, amazing rewards, and complimentary Kogan First membership.
Breakfast with Gary Lyon and Tim Watson.
Oh, Fun Friday, the 23rd of July. It is the McCafe menu. It's got a heavy Olympic theme, and I like it. Lauren Jackson's going to join us, the basketball great Aaron Royal. Is it Royal? Yes. Live from Tokyo. He's an Australian triathlete. He's competing. He's going to join us. We've got Mum and Dad, Tracy and Peter Mackay, the parents of the twins, Ben and Harry, going to have a chat with us very shortly about their emotions ahead of... They're going to chat with us at the same time as John from Epping, who's also going to join us. Big Johnny from Epping every Friday. So that's a nice little lineup. 1300 736 736. The temper text machine, 0433 98 11 16. Got a little bit of music to get us pumped. Is it Olympic music? What sports motivational music? I like that on a Friday. Welcome to you, Whispers.
Good morning, Gary. Good morning, everybody. Great to be here. Gee, it's getting exciting Olympics-wise, isn't it?
Well, what about the Olyroos?
Unbelievable performance. Unbelievable.
Smacked Argentina.
And they are ranked in South America, the Argentinians, in
right up there.
No, number one. They are the best in South America.
What's right up there, mate?
Well, not nearly right up there.
Right up there.
Right up there.
Right up there.
At the very top.
Lockie Wales, Marco Tilio scored for Australia. We've given them a nice little backhander. Back you go and work on your defence, because right now we've got you covered. That's the way I read it. What are you doing?
And, there's a big bombshell this morning. A big bombshell, right? And you need your flowers. I'm going to give you some flowers.
We're going to give you all the flowers in the world, bro.
A long time ago. We're going back a long way now, maybe even 18 months. Yep. You had a bombshell, and then you didn't drop it.
It was the start of this year, was it?
No.
Last year.
No, it was the start at the end of the year before.
Massive.
And you didn't want to go with it, and you didn't want to go with it. And then finally you said that you'd heard something.
I had to concede.
Yeah, about Alex Rance.
And Essendon.
And lo and behold, news has come through that he will be playing for Essendon over the weekend. So I'm giving you your flowers. You're the DJ Khaled, you are.
Belated.
Another one you've done.
I wonder if that's linked.
Thanks, Coxie. Anytime soon.
I heard that strictly. I heard that strongly a long time ago, that the Bombers were really, really keen to have a crack at him. I wonder if this is linked.
He's only 31.
So they're severely depleted the Essendon VFL team.
Yep.
So that's the suggestion that he could play as early as this weekend just to help him out. But I put 2 and 2 together.
Yes, you did. I'm going to give you some flowers about something else this morning too. I was reading this article this morning written by Tom Morris, okay? He's gone back and revisited an unbelievable game that was played at the MCG back in 2001, July 22. Do you know what the game was? Off the top of your head, what do you think the game was?
Oh, well, I'd imagine it's the comeback game,
It's the Essendon game. They were down by 69 points against North Melbourne early in the second quarter, right? They came back and won that game. The final score is just extraordinary. 27-9. What about the accuracy? 27-9 they kicked Essendon. North Melbourne kicked 25-9, right? So on the day, 52-18 was kicked. Extraordinary. I know they were perfect conditions, okay? But this is the extraordinary thing. Two extraordinary things, right? Matthew Lloyd, who kicked, I think he kicked 5.
9.
He kicked 9 for the game, but I think he kicked 5 successive goals at one stage in that game as well, right?
He'll text me in a minute if it's not right.
He enjoyed the game that much. I didn't know this. He contacted AW for the audio.
Not surprised.
Do you reckon he's still rolling around the car playing the old
I
cassette?
reckon he whacks it in the cassette deck every now and then when he needs a little lift.
That's extraordinary. But even more extraordinary is this. You won a media award for your expert calling in the AW box that day, right? And the bit that they gave you the award for was that in the second quarter of that game, when Essendon were trailing by 69 points, you said they'll still come back and win this game, Essendon. Can you remember that?
I don't know. No. No, I can't remember that.
This is fact.
No, I do remember that. I do.
Of course you do.
I do remember.
Of course you do.
I didn't win an award for
Yes, you
that,
did.
Not for that game. Is that what you said?
No, that was part of. You won the award, the special comment.
Yes, for the year.
For the year.
That's right.
And that's the
right.
bit that they actually played, and that's the reason why they gave you the award.
No, I don't think it's.
No, that it is.
solely-
No. Yes, it
solely
was.
the
It was.
reason that I got
All
it.
the other stuff you did for the year was pretty ordinary, but apparently you nailed that bit there.
Oh, well. Yeah.
I'll take your flowers. Don't be so bashful and shy.
I'll put them aside, those flowers, because they're a long time ago. Who's that?
Who's that?
You've thrown me. I want to ask someone about this. Your kids and my kids are all growing up, right?
No idea.
Well old out of school. How's everyone? I mean, everyone's dealing with things. Yeah, it's so tough at the moment. How are you going with homeschooling? Imagine trying to do that.
That's tough. That
What
is
would be
tough.
the worst year for what would be the worst aged a child to homeschool?
Oh, you'll find out in a minute.
So it would be I reckon it'd be about a grade 5er.
Mm.
In fact, every year it'd be difficult.
Our boy, do you think
No,
homeschooling boys would be more difficult than homeschooling
I've
girls?
only had boys, so I can only talk from. My
They'd be busy.
perspective. There are lots of distractions for boys. I feel for people who have had to homeschool so much for the last 2 years.
Only now you're feeling for them.
Well, just every day you wake up and you think, the longer this damn thing goes, who else? Like, as I said, I had friends who were opening a restaurant last night. No restaurant.
Yeah, we were going to go.
We were going to go. That money's poured into this thing, and it's been ready to go. It's been ready to go for ages. No go. So anyway.
Hey, there's a lot of people hurting out there, Gary. And if you are, and if you want to have a chat about it, give us a call this morning. We're here for you. We are here for you. I was thinking about the same thing yesterday, Gary. I was listening to people talk about this on the radio, and people had businesses, and through no fault of their own, they're finding themselves under enormous financial stress, and some people have had to shut the doors of their business, and other people are trying to keep their business afloat, and they're wondering when this is all going to end so that they can return to some form of normal life and existence. So give us a call. If you need to, give us a call. If you need to, we're here for you. No, we're here for you. I was at that game as a 16-year-old. We sat behind the goals in the Ponsford stand, saw 37 goals kicked at that end of the ground. That is amazing. But the accuracy, 27-9 to 25-9. Unbelievable. Did you enjoy that game, thinking back hard? Did you enjoy that game?
It's 20 years ago. I can hardly remember last week.
Well, you won an award for the game. Surely you didn't win that many. How many? That must have stood out in your mind.
Who else?
How many elves have you got? Have you got more elves? You got more elves than Santa Claus?
We can't joke about this because then I have to cop it for another 3 hours. Oh. Hey, here comes.
Sorry, that was a little joke. You missed it.
Here's all the. What did you say?
I said, have you got more elves than Santa Claus?
God, you're funny, Tim.
It's not a bad one. Here come all the teachers who are telling us how hard it is to.
Well, send them through.
What, you want to send the kids through?
No, send all the messages through because
and this is probably
you get off your chest. It might help you
through really strongly. The worst homeschooling age is anywhere between 5 and 18.
Right, there you go.
Jeez. Scheisenhausen, they said. Year 12s can't connect with friends. Prep, they can't read and write. You need to be with them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 12-year-old girl in grade 6. My God, my poor wife. Wow. I did think about that today. I should think about other people more often in this situation, but our kids are all out of school, so it doesn't really occur to us too often. My nieces, I've got twin nieces, they're doing year 12. I know how damn hard it is for them.
I'm excited about the ramble this morning, fellas. I just bought a new tractor for the farm in Murdoch. Very excited. That's from
What?
Giorgio. Giorgio, we need more
Give
detail.
us a ring, George. We would. That's teasing us. You can't. We need more detail than that. The Wisp is not allowed. Lady Susie won't let him buy a tractor because she doesn't trust him.
Too dangerous.
So Wisp's got tractor envy. That is what we've established. But
I had a call. I
believe
from
he
someone.
had a call.
I had a call from somebody
Trying
about
to get
that.
him into one of the orange flyers.
Well, there's a transmission in a new tractor that you don't have. It's the very, very latest that the guy said.
There's
"Look,
what?
There's a transmission. There's a new form of transmission in tractors.
What is it?
I don't know. It's secret. I don't want
You
to go.
don't understand what you're
I don't want to
talking
go
about.
into the detail yet because it's very, very new. And they're looking for somebody that had a steep property in Australia to be the first person to drive one of these tractors. And they came straight to me, not you.
Come on, George. Give us a ring about your tractor. We'd love to hear about that. Anything else you got to ramble on about?
I want to ask you about that show I put you on to. Are you enjoying it or not?
Love it.
The Parisian Agency.
Absolutely immersed in it.
Did you get over the problem
Yeah.
of trying to read
I
the
can
text at the same time?
Starting to understand. I've got a quickie
You're
here.
speaking French, are
I'm
you now?
starting to understand a lot more. But I love it. I love it. If you love real estate, if you love the fact that we can't travel. Well, Nikki, my partner, they go to Paris and France most years. They're onto it. Oh, by hell, do they love it. And the family's just a great. So it's a family of 4 boys, mum and dad, 4 boys, and 3 of the boys, the eldest boys, are all part of the one real estate
Firm
company.
and family, and
They
the
work
office
from
is
home.
in mum and dad's house, and they've got a beautiful house. But it's just a beautiful illustration too of Paris.
You know how I say we've got the smartest audience ever and a diverse audience. Do you think? I read in the newspaper about the ferries. Your man,
Which ferries?
Paul Little,
Right.
Port Phillip ferries.
Yep.
Which commute between Melbourne and
Yep.
Geelong and the Bellarine Peninsula.
Yep.
And they're going to build a new terminal somewhere in the Docklands because they say it's becoming more and more popular travelling to work by ferry.
Right.
I want someone to ring in or text to say I use the ferry every day to go to work.
You want somebody to do
Yeah.
that if they do or not, or
I want
they
someone.
actually have to be on the ferry though. Yes.
No, they have to be on the ferry now.
Not
but
now, but they have to have travelled on the
Yeah.
ferry.
is that something that I want to? I don't know the answer to this. If you lived in Geelong or down there and you worked in the city, are people coming to work by ferry?
Right.
And if so, are they beginning to use it that frequently that we need a new ferry harbour, a ferry shop or whatever it's called, terminal?
A ferry shop.
Would you think that's popular?
A ferry shop.
A ferry terminal. It's a ferry terminal, Tim.
I
not a
don't
ferry
know.
shop.
I don't know enough
You've
about it.
ruined
Gary.
your track record
I know.
there.
Don't know about it. But
Oh, if you're in Geelong, if you had to work in Geelong, right?
you've been talking to Murray Rance, have you?
I read it in the paper.
Oh, okay.
Why? What's whatever else got to do with it?
Well, he helped set it up. He works for Paul Little.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Okay. So you travel every day from Geelong to Melbourne for work. Would you go by car or by ferry or by train?
Depends upon the cost. I don't know how expensive it is, but it depends upon the cost. I was going to ask you a question about the real estate because in that show, the Parisian Agency, everybody that's buying an apartment is looking for a glimpse of an iconic building there in Paris.
Yes.
So they want to have a glimpse of the Eiffel Tower or Sacré-Cœur or
Arc de Triomphe.
Arc de Triomphe, whatever it might be. If you were, what would be the iconic glimpses here in Melbourne if you're buying real estate?
The G.
What else?
The G. That is all you need. Is the G.
What sort of markup for the property do you get if you get a glimpse of the G from your room?
5% for the top of the light tower. 15 if you get a full tower, and 25% if you get the ground and tower. Rowan's in Sydney now.
He knows ferries.
I accept this. Go, Rowan.
G'day, Gaz. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. I can understand you using a ferry
Yeah.
to go to work every day, yeah?
Mate, it is one of the magnificent things about Sydney going to work.
Yeah.
Say 6 o'clock in the morning,
Yep.
watching the sun come up, travelling past through the head,
Yep.
Manly to Sydney. It's wonderful.
How long's that take, Manly? I've been on that ferry, Manly to Sydney. How long?
That's 30 minutes, but you can get a fast ferry that takes around 15 to 18 minutes.
Right.
What
And
sort
that
of
fast ferry, sorry, Gaz,
what sort of sheets for that row?
that's around $10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cheap.
Not bad.
And on a evening, you can grab a couple of cans and have a few beers on the back of the ferry on the way home to chill out.
Has it got Wi-Fi on the ferry as well, Rowan?
Not sure, Timmy. Not sure.
I would suspect
it would have to, wouldn't it?
Some sort of a Wi-Fi setup for sure. Hey, good on you, Ro. I'm jealous of people up in Sydney. I understand why in Sydney. I'm still waiting to see someone here in Melbourne tell me they get the Geelong ferry daily.
I just hate Geelong.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't, but he's going to join us later this morning, is he?
Bernadette says, I walk the Geelong waterfront every day. I see the 6:45 ferry take off. Most days around 3 to 4 folks on board. I'm not sure that's an ongoing business, is it? It's only 3 to 4.
Had that been around then Australian Crawl, they could have written that song completely differently, couldn't they?
What song?
Well, as the Manly Ferry.
I don't know that song. I might have to have you sing it for me. We're here for Kogan credit cards and no annual fees, amazing rewards. And Country Racing Victoria, back where we belong. I still can't recognise that song. Country Racing Strong, book online.
Don't be so reckless.
Ah, yes, I know that one.
The Country is back racing strong. Book now at country.racing.com. Kogan credit cards, no annual fees, amazing rewards and complimentary Kogan First membership.
Breakfast with Gary Lyon and Tim Watson.
As the Manly Ferry cuts its way to Circular Quay.
Oh, now I get it. At least I understood. I couldn't understand a word you were saying.
Well, no one could understand a word that he was saying when he was singing James Rain. No one could.
You're in character.
That's right. As the Geelong ferry
well, we're talking...
cuts its way to Channel 7. That's where it parks, right at the front of Channel 7.
Well, not anymore. It's getting a new terminal.
Oh, well, that will be built probably right at the front there somewhere.
All right, well, you could move down there.
Where?
Down the peninsula.
I don't want to.
Oh.
I just hate Geelong.
Mark from Mildura. G'day, Mark.
If I'm going anywhere, I'll be going to Epping with Johnny.
Sorry, mate.
How are you, Mark?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks.
That's the way. What do you got for us this morning?
Mate, I was in... hang on. Got my tools.
Oh, no.
In the 70s. Yeah, in the 70s, I was in the Navy.
In the Navy, Mark?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
I was a boat stoker.
What's that? What do you do?
Oh, Tim.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Before you explain what a boat stoker is, Gary, what does the boat stoker do?
Everyone knows what a boat stoker is.
What, they stoke the boat, do they? Right, okay. What's a boat stoker do, Mark?
He's like the engineer on the captain's boat.
That's right.
As it breaks down.
Hey, so it breaks down, you get the boat stoker in, Tim.
Is that why you got tools there, Mark, in case the boat breaks down?
No, mate, I wasn't very good at the job.
What are you doing now, Marco?
I'm the general manager at a agriculture machinery manufacturer in Mildura.
Tractors?
Tractors, yes.
Oh, what sort are we talking?
State-of-the-art ones. And we've actually just signed up for a 12-month radio advertising program with you guys.
Oh, magnificent.
Oh, you might want a couple of tractor drivers to read your ads. Well, if the Wisp was in the market for a tractor, what would you recommend for it? He's only a little hobby farmer, but what would you recommend for him?
New Holland Boomer 50.
A Boomer 50. How big are they, Mark?
Oh, it's a 50.
40 horsepower.
Now, I was trying to explain to Gary, he's sort of like just a part-time farmer. I was trying to explain to him about the new transmission in these tractors. Unbelievable, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, we've had it for a while, though.
Yeah, see, it's not new. They're not new, Tim.
No, the one I was looking at is brand new. I don't think it's ever
what
been
sort of
in the
sheets
country
would the
before.
Wisp be looking at for a 40?
Yeah, 40 horsepower, power steer, but I bet you can't get power steer on them.
Power steer, Wisp? You want power steer on yours?
Well, I'll consider it.
Yeah.
What sort of sheets, Mark?
Sorry?
How much money would one of these cost?
I've got a special going on at the moment for you.
Yep. Farmer's discount.
Mates rates.
Mates rates is retail plus 20.
All right. We'll spit it out, Marco, because we've got to get to the news.
He's searching for the
price. Oh, right. Okay.
Around 35 I'll do you one for.
Ooh.
All right. Does that include GST?
Ooh.
Oh, mate, we never include GST. That's
of course not.
Plus.
Yeah. Delivered? I'm in Gippsland.
For you, I would. I'd put on the trailer myself.
I tell you what, you could stay the weekend. I'll charge you $4,500 to stay the weekend, do some fishing on the river.
Yeah, deal.
Deal. Well, leave your number, Marco. And the Wisp, Lady Susie, I don't think he's getting 35 grand past Lady Susie.
What's
You know how much they cost?
You know how much they cost?
What brand was it? Holland.
New Holland.
New Holland.
Holland. Who am I talking with here? I must have get some new farmers in. A New Holland Wispy. Lots of people texting through about the ferry too. I'm not sure it's going to. Well, anyway, Paul Little knows better than I. Hopefully it is. He's building a whole new terminal, so I'm hoping it sorts out. And a lot of people from homeschooling. What about this? Nothing makes you realise how dumb you become as attempting to help your 8 or 10-year-old. Soul officially destroyed. That's Sally in Geelong. Homeschooling my 13-year-old boy. It's mostly done online, so he's one click away from the internet and everything a 13-year-old boy would be interested in. How do you reckon we're going?
No
That's
good.
from Daz.
Oh, boy. No good.
So
maybe we'll be back to school by hopefully the middle of next week, maybe later next week.
Well, you're at the epicentre there. What say you for us getting out of lockdown?
I don't know. I don't want to speculate on this because
you told me next week we'd get out.
Oh no, I said I hope we get out next. Don't put words in my mouth.
I thought you said we will.
Yes, we have seen the Jeremy Clarkson farm. He drives a Lamborghini tractor. Gary loves that show.
Yeah,
it's all over though now, isn't it? You've watched every episode.
Yeah, I have. But apparently yesterday they've declared that there's a second series coming. We'll get into the selections. It has been fascinating looking at some of the selections for this weekend's round of footy. There's some. I don't know whether there's games being played or whether clubs are just trying to sort of experiment a little bit. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in great detail.
Do you know much more about that New Holland tractor? Somebody wants to know whether it's a 2-door or a 4-door. Has it got seats in the back or not, the tractor, Gary?
I don't go New Holland. It wouldn't be a 4-door tractor.
You're a Kubota man, aren't you?
Yeah.
Always have been, always will be.
Exclusive to Kubota.
Do you know what? When I spoke to the Kubota man,
yeah,
he said, look, I can't give you the deal that we gave Gary. We've actually got a better one.
Well, I don't believe that to be the case, but if you can furnish yourself.
How much did your tractor cost?
The best deal you
off the top of your head, how much did it cost?
Oh, well, I bought some other equipment. So
okay, with all that equipment, how much did it cost?
Not much. They call it
Has it still got the plastic on the seats, or have you driven it yet?
Well, I see. Don't talk it down. Bloke had never heard of a New Holland tractor. You could win a 2021 Toyota Hilux Rugged X valued at over $75,000. Toyota certified pre-owned vehicle. Certainly is a great feeling. Lauren Jackson to join us. Aaron Royal. I say Royale. No, you tell me Royal. Aaron Royal, live from Tokyo. He's an Australian athlete. Got the parents of Harry and Ben Mackay who are going to play on each other, we think, this weekend, and very shortly Johnny from Epping. So that's a nice, fun Friday.
Probably up to almost halfway. She's 3 from the top. You can see Graham inside of her, probably in front. Mary's having a good run. This is where Kathy exploded in Atlanta. Graham's in front of her. Freeman's got work to do here. There's about 150 to go. Guevara and Mary are right up. It's going to be a big finish. Into the straight, Graham leads. Freeman runs up to her. Mary inside. Kathy lifting. Goes up to Graham. Takes the lead. Looks a winner. Draws away from Graham and Mary. This is a famous victory. A magnificent performance. What a legend. What a champion.
Oh,
we missed the best bit.
You can't cut it out there. You missed the punctuation mark to the greatest call in sport. Oh,
what a relief.
I can't believe that. It's just his young rooster, see? He doesn't
He was
know.
only a little kid back in 2000.
Little tacker.
He would have been 5 or 6 back in 2000. What about that? It still gets you, doesn't it, that call?
Oh, it makes me want to run a 400.
Actually, somebody I know well ran into Kathy yesterday, and they were talking to her about that particular run, and he suggested that we get her on and have a chat about it because he thought that she would love to come on our program and talk about it again after all these years.
Name dropping from the Wisp there.
And I just had a call from somebody who's got the very latest New Holland tractor too that they'd like me to have a look at. It's called the Netherland.
If you get a New Holland, we might have a tractor pull.
That sounds painful.
Some more sport for national tiles. Guaranteed lowest tile prices in Australia. They're supposed to be a one-day international. I mean, I'm supposed to be watching West Indies and Australia one-day international too. They tossed the coin, all set to go, and then there was a COVID scare. So the game has been called off. They all had to run back to their rooms as a member of the West Indies staff is COVID positive. So that's the tenuous situation we're in with world sport.
Hey, Tim, the best small tractor is the John Deere 1025R. Plenty of grunt, 4-in-1 bucket. I love the 4-in-1 bucket.
I've got a 4-in-1 bucket.
I know you have. You only use 3 parts of it, though. Auto Connect mower deck if you need it. It's also bright green. I love the green.
Like
so a little bit more
mower.
stylish than the Gowdy orange Kubota that Gary's got.
Sounds small.
What have we got? Some more sport for National Tiles. Guaranteed lowest tile prices in Australia. You talked about the cricket. That's not going along at the moment. In the NRL...
I just said that.
I know.
You're distracted by your tractor talk.
No.
Listen.
In the NRL last night, the Rugby League, Canberra beat Parramatta 12-10. The Storm take on the Cowboys tonight.
This is interesting. The 2021 Rugby League World Cup is going to be without Australia and New Zealand, so they've pulled out of the World Cup overnight. Now they've said there's going to be ramifications.
They're not happy.
Disappointed. I'm worried about the Ashes now.
Well, we should be. We should all be worried about the Ashes now.
And there's a report in the paper today saying that if indeed we go ahead with the Ashes, which we all are hoping we will, that English players are saying if our families can't travel, don't expect us to be here for the full 4 months, because it's a
long way
November to the end of January job.
It's a long way off, though, Gary. A long, long way off.
Not really.
And we did see the Olyroos last night. They defeated Argentina 2-1 or 2-0 in the end, was it, Gary?
2-0. A thrashing of the top-ranked Argentinians.
And what about Marco Tilio, right? He came on and scored within a minute of being on the pitch.
The Tillman, I call him. Yes, he did. He's an impact player.
Is he?
Comes straight on.
Is he our Teddy Hopkins, is he?
He's got a bit of Hopkins about him. So that is a fantastic start. Now you're starting to get into the spirit. You're starting to get into the... I can see it in your eyes. I think they took that Bruce call. You've been a bit flat on the Olympics, unlike me.
Can we play the Dennis one as well? That will really get me going.
Which one?
When he brought home our man who swam in the 8th lane.
Yeah, we'll have that for you out of...
Coxie will cut the best bits out. He'll leave the best bits out.
He'll do the 14 and a half minutes of it and forget the touch in the end. National Tiles, over 40 years of guaranteed lowest tile prices.
This is going too long. I'll just speed it up a little bit.
Australia every day of the year. IMAR's Tradies Insurance Quiz. Call now. We'll see if we can get Big Ben calling home Kieran Perkins. It might take us up until 9 o'clock. Jump on the line 1300 736.
Whole race coming up after the break.
736. Today's theme. Oh, who knows what it is today.
The country is back racing strong. Book now at country.racing.com. Kogan credit cards, no annual fees, amazing rewards and complimentary Kogan First membership.
Breakfast with Gary Lyon and Tim Watson.
The SEN Breakfast Quiz for IMAR Tradies Insurance. Get an instant quote and pay the premium at imar.com.au or call 13-IMAR.
They're the tradies, mate. That's IMAR.
You do not have the hydrostatic transmission on your tractor. I'm telling you.
Seriously, this has been going for 6 minutes. Yes, I have.
And you don't have the rear linkage counterweight
I
either.
have.
I don't think you have.
I've got a rear linkage counterweight.
You don't.
I do.
Have you? You haven't got. I don't think you have got the hydrostatic transmission. I think it's something very new.
This isn't that. I'm sorry to bore everyone, but in the ad break he goes, "Oh, I might get a tractor, but yours hasn't got the automatic." I said, I turned mine on. I push the pedal forward and it goes. What's more automatic than that?
No, this is a new improved thing.
I don't think so.
The tractors have got on. Yours is a little bit old. When did you get yours? 4 years ago? 3 years ago?
Yeah.
They're making new things and changing things all the time, modifying things.
Automatic. Ben's in Altona. He's joined us for the IMAR quiz. The squad bundle, $60 worth of personal healthcare, personal face and body wash, and a Ringers Western stubby, cooler and cap. Wispy.
Yes, and we love that scarecrow joke, but we can't read it out this morning.
Oh, what about this? Paul from Mooloolaba. He went to Veggie Mash last night. Absolutely life-changing, he reckons?
Yeah, but I had all my... Yes, Garrett, I had all my teeth out 2 weeks ago. That's why I've had to eat it.
Take that back.
Ben, good morning to you.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we?
We're going okay this morning. Name one of the 2 Collingwood players that will debut against Port tonight.
Anton Tohill?
Yes, or Jack Ginnivan you could have gone with as well. Do you say Ginnivan or Ginnivan?
Ginnivan.
Okay.
I don't know the answer. That's what I was...
Somebody out there will. Who was the Australian flag bearer at the opening ceremony in Sydney, the 2000 Olympics? Who carried the flag for us that night?
Oh, was that Gazy?
It was.
Hey.
Hey, go with Kate Campbell. She talked about this yesterday. Should she, in all honesty, I'm being serious now, given the weight of the flag, and others have said that it's a difficult thing
Gazy
to
said
do.
it is.
Yeah, well, for her back, like she has to perform in the pool.
Paddy.
Oh, okay.
Give it a Paddy to carry. She's got to swim in the next day or two.
You're right. Ben, the cotoletta is an Italian word for what? We spoke about this yet. I'll pronounce it the Italian way. Cotoletta. Italian word for what?
Primary school Italian's failing me now. I've got no idea. Sorry, guys.
We had a good chat about this yesterday.
Yes. If you get the opportunity when you go to a restaurant, order one of these. Magnificent. Luke's in Sandringham. Good morning, Luke.
Morning, man.
Luke, cotoletta is an Italian word for what?
Beer threaded cutlet.
Magnificent. Well done, Luke.
Well done, Lukey.
Gary was approached to coach which club back in 1999? He's still got 3 Nissans in his driveway at home. Didn't take the coaching position, took the 3 cars and didn't hand them back to Leon Daphne. Which club was it, Luke?
Spud took his job, I'd say, with the Tigers.
It was the Tigers. Now, the most dramatic day of broadcasting, Gary's broadcasting career, occurred when which dictator was found in a hole in the ground? Who was that?
Any hints?
No, we've got
He was a
full
tyrant.
board. Well, yeah, he was a tyrant. We've got a full board of calls here. Luke, I'm sorry. Sorry, Luke. Have a great weekend. Adam is in Croydon. Good morning, Adam.
Yeah, g'day, guys.
Who was it? Who popped his head out of a manhole in the ground?
Not very sports related, but that was Saddam Hussein.
It was. Well done, Adam. And I'll tell you what, nobody covered it more comprehensively and better than what Gary did on the television program that morning. You win the squad bundle, including face and body wash, valued at $65. Thanks to Stuff.
Don't you worry about that, Wisp. You wouldn't have missed a thing that morning.
Have you got a copy of that?
I don't know.
And a Ringers Western study cooler and cap. Ringers Western looks great in the city and toughs it out on the land. Check out their range on ringerswestern.com.
I'm an assistant golf course superintendent in Melbourne here. We only use Kubota tractors, and yes, they've got hydrostatic drive. Good choice, Gaz. Suck eggs, Tim. There you go, Wisp. Cop that.
Well, I don't like that.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's exactly what it is. I told you it had what was it?
Hydrostatic.
I told you.
You don't even know what it is.
Thanks, Trent. He told me. Johnny's up next. I've got to go. Apparently, Johnny from Epping is coming up. You got something for Johnny?
Yes, I have.
Right.
I have. We actually had a text in before about concrete cancer. Because he was in the field of concrete for a lot of years, Johnny. So I'm going to put that to him. Somebody's got a concrete cancer problem, and they want to know how to fix it. Johnny will be the man.
SEN Breakfast Quiz for IMA Tradies. Right now at IMA, you can buy Tradies insurance online and save. Johnny up next.
The country is back racing strong. Book now at country.racing.com. Kogan credit cards, no annual fees, amazing rewards and complimentary Kogan First membership.
Breakfast with Gary Lyon and Tim Watson.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
I think this message is confused. He's thinking I broke the Saddam on SEN.
No.
It wasn't
no.
on SEN.
It was on TV, Channel 9.
I have a hydrostatic drive on my John Deere. It's 10 years old, Wispy. He reckons that's new technology.
Yes, this is an updated hydrostatic.
John from Epping is our favourite. He always joins us on Friday at this time to just touch base on the bigger topics of the week. Good morning to you, Johnny.
Good morning, both of you. So how you going?
Good, thank you, John.
Thanks. How's the week been for you?
Oh, I can't complain. I can't complain.
No. We don't complain either. It's pretty tough in lockdown, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but what can you do? That's the way
nothing.
thing it is, you know.
Yep.
You can't help that. Too late now. It happened here in Melbourne, and we're going to cop it.
That's right. And unfortunately, we just have to live with it, don't we, Johnny? Hey, have you ever had a tractor? You ever driven a tractor in your life?
Oh, I did, yes.
Whereabouts?
Oh, that's when I was working years ago. I used to drive a tractor for work, but I got a run on more, so I'm pretty good on tractor.
Yeah. Hey, someone gave us a message before and said, could you ask John when you speak to him if he could explain concrete cancer to are you aware of that? Yep. Okay.
Yeah. The concrete cancer. It's when the concrete gets chipped. And why get chipped? Because when they put a slab or they put in some concrete bin, they put the mesh. And when they put the mesh, they don't put it further in. So instead of to have like a 50 mil concrete cover on top of the mesh, they have a problem maybe 10 mil.
Yeah.
And what's happened with the humidity, the goes inside the concrete and the mesh get rust. Once it starts to get rust, the rust chip the concrete out.
Right.
And that's what they call cancer.
So you got to get the concrete in quick before any moisture gets in there.
No, they have to give it. They have to give enough depth.
Depth.
When they put the mesh, they're gonna give enough depth to the concrete to make sure it doesn't explode. Because even if you put give an example, a driveway, and you put the mesh, and it's about half an inch below the concrete. When it's very like 35, 40 degrees, the mesh get hot and chip the concrete out.
Okay, I've got one final concrete question. I've got concrete floors at home, Johnny, polished concrete floors. I'm getting all these hairline cracks in the concrete. Is that just normal? No. Does concrete always do that?
No.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. Sometimes, even if you put the mesh, if the ground is not a very hard ground, with the weather, with the rain, with the moisture, always move, always crack. When I done in my garage, I put a 200 mil of crushed rock, like with the 2% cement inside.
Yep.
And I done the wake up plate and everything, and the crushed rock was more harder than the concrete. And guess what?
Cracked.
I put a 100 mil concrete with the mesh and everything, and still it's cracked.
Yep. Well, Tim wouldn't have done that because he tries to do it.
I'm not sure if they did. I'm not sure if they got. I saw a whacker there one day, but I'm not sure if they used it, Johnny, when they were putting it down.
Yeah, but if you wanted to stop the cracks, you have to get a concrete saw and just
No, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that.
No. You live with the cracks.
I'll live with it.
You live with the cracks.
Brando, his dog, will disappear down a crack one day, and then he might think about it. Hey, what about the big game, the Ben Mackay versus Harry? How do you think that's going to play out?
Oh, can you stop on that 1 second? I wanted to go to something else before we got to that.
Sure.
If you don't mind.
Sure.
You had a go on me last week, and because I ring Gerald, I mean Dwayne Russell, how come what you were doing the other night with the Gerald on his show?
Yeah, why were you on Gerald's show? Good point.
Well, that's not radio, though. That was television.
But doesn't matter. That wasn't your program, isn't it? You worked for on the couch.
That's right. No, you've got me. You have got me. But I was filling in for someone who was sick, so I don't know if you were filling in for anyone that was sick when you rang Dwayne.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's not the right. You're not giving the right answer.
No, you got me. I think you've got me.
Hey, Johnny, yesterday we were talking about twins. We had, I don't know whether you heard us or not, but we had Jordan Lewis in here. He's got twins. He says that there's always a dominant twin. Of the twin Mackays, Harry and Ben, have you noticed watching footy? You're a very keen watcher of the game. Have you noticed one might be a little bit more assertive than the other?
Yeah. Can I tell you the truth? Because I speak my mind.
You always
I think Harry. Sorry, he played for North, but I reckon Harry is a little bit better than Mackay.
Right, than Ben.
Because maybe because Carlton play a bit better than North and give the ball to his forward line him off or what? Because it's not an easy job to play defence.
Yeah.
And we're not very, very strong in defence, sort of thing,
Yeah.
I don't complain. For Mackay, he's doing his best. I can see he tries his best every week. So, but I reckon Harry's a little bit better than Mackay.
Okay.
I have to tell the truth.
Well, good. You always do, and that's what we love about you. We've got about 50 seconds. Are you supporting the Italians at the Olympics? Are they any good? What are they good at?
Oh, well, I think they all probably on the moment be good on soccer, be good on basketball as well.
Basketball, yeah. Shooting?
Yeah, I reckon they've got a good chance to win maybe 1 or 2 gold medals.
Do you watch the Olympics? Do you get in?
I'm gonna start tonight. I wouldn't miss the Olympics.
All right. Hey,
Yeah.
you make us smile. You've got me out. You caught me out today, so I think you got me. So well done to you. Hey, have a great weekend. Enjoy watching the Olympics. Enjoy watching your Kangaroos play. Stay safe, and we'll talk again next week. Hopefully,
You too.
Yep.
Look after yourself.
Yeah, we're looking forward to coming out and seeing you too, Johnny, when this lockdown ends.
Okay. When this virus goes away, I hope, and then you can come in.
Yes,
will,
for sure.
There he is, Johnny. He's here for Tyre Power. Aussie owned and operated. He's got his own sponsor now to get him a couple of tyres. Oh, I love Johnny. I do love him. We'll get stuck into some footy stuff out of the 7 o'clock news.
The country is back racing strong. Book now at country.racing.com. Kogan credit cards, no annual fees, amazing rewards, and complimentary Kogan First membership.
Breakfast with Gary Lyon and Tim Watson.
Great to have you with us on this fun Friday. Got a very busy show. We've got Lauren Jackson and Aaron Royal. Aaron's competing in the triathlon at Tokyo, so he's going to join us live from Tokyo. Basketball great Lauren Jackson and the parents of Harry and Ben Mackay, Tracy and Pete. Are we going to talk to both of them or just Pete? Just
Both of them.
Trace? Both?
Both, yeah.
Fantastic. This is a conversation starter for the Kia Sorrento Drive Car of the Year. A little different today, given that it's the first day of the Olympics. So we're happy to take calls on anything. I know we get stuck into the footy now, and we will. We'll take your calls on the footy. We'll take calls on concrete. We'll take calls on John Deere tractors. Hi, Tim. When I stopped working as a diesel mechanic back in 1984, all combine harvesters and many tractors had hydraulic drive. You reckon it's a new invention?
No, it's hydrostatic drive. Not hydraulic, hydrostatic drive. That's what it is, John. Yeah, but this is the latest, most improved. This is state-of-the-art hydrostatic drive. Not sure.
Okay.
John he stopped working on the diesels back in 1984. That's a long time ago now. And Tim, you're given flowers. It sounds very American. It is given flowers. Can you make it more Australian?
All the flowers in the world, bro.
And say something like, "You've won the meat raffle."
Give him the meat tray.
I
like it.
Nah, that's more of a raffle thing. For
Flowers?
Me. I don't mind the idea, Gordon, but we're giving flowers.
All right, I'm going to do a little questions without notice here.
Easy.
Tony Cochran says the AFL, highly unlikely to have the grand final. He wants South Australian, Western Australian government to prepare their bids. What's the likelihood of the biggest day in football being held at the best sporting ground in the world this year?
We're still a long way out, but they need a lot of time to prepare. I would say it's 50-50 at the moment.
They are going to be desperate like you wouldn't believe, to have it here and not have it leave the state again. So they'll be putting all sorts of protocols in place, all sort of systems in place. If it means we can only get 60,000 people into the MCG for the grand final because of spacing and different situations, different lines going in the ground, different queues, no food, nothing, just purely walk in, sit to your seat, watch the game, and whoosh, out.
I think the 60,000 thing is the interesting part. I think there would be a cut-off where they say, no, we're not putting it on as the grand event of the year if we can only get 50,000.
Well, 60 is what Perth could provide.
That's right.
So it'd have to be at least 60.
They are desperate. Everybody is desperate for the grand final to be at the MCG this year. Mm-hmm. The other thing that Cocker's suggested too, and it's only suggested, and that is that you may need to have a vaccination passport. Do you support this or not? We got into trouble the other morning when we even suggested it and talked about it. We weren't recommending it in any way. I'm not doing that now. I'm just asking for your point of view. If the only way that you could get to the MCG to watch the grand final this year was that you had to produce a vaccination passport, do you think that would make a difference?
I think this year is going to be too quick for something like that. Be too soon for something like that. But I wouldn't count it out down the track, given the access to the vaccines.
What about the idea then that's been floated? I think Gerard Waitley might have done this with you on your program 360 the other night. Mm-hmm. The idea of going into a WA hub.
Yeah, Gerard did float that as one of the ideas, that all teams could end up over there for 4 weeks and preparing. Well, yeah, I'm not. I don't sort of be ringing around all the people I need to ring around to understand that. I'm just supportive of the AFL trying to get the game on. If it means we've got to go to Perth, so be it. if it means we're here in Victoria, families, I see the girls from the Giants and the Swans are going up into a hard lockdown now in Brisbane for 14 days so they can get back with their guys. So that's pretty important, I would have thought. So whatever works.
That can only work, though, if the families can go as well.
Yeah.
Like it.
Well, if they do the hard lockdown and now with the players, wherever they may be, well, they should be able to travel like the players.
Yeah. Chris Scott, I think we've got the audio here of him yesterday talking about this. I don't want the audio talking about Richmond taking on or Geelong taking on Richmond without Dustin Martin. He talked about the fact that the AFL needed to explain the ethical framework behind their decision.
Righto, let's have a listen.
The question should be directed at them and they should explain their ethical framework for those situations. The AFL makes the decision. We get very, very, very little say, if any.
Do they need to? Do they need to come forward? And I would have thought somewhere though. You can't tell me that somewhere along the line when Geelong were negotiating with the AFL, they didn't explain the reasons why the game couldn't be GMHBA Stadium. Come on, Gary.
Chris,
I'm not buying
Scott says he wants the AFL to explain its ethical framework, having been denied that home game.
What does that actually mean, the ethical framework?
Well, if in fact you're talking about integrity and who has a right to play on a home ground.
We're talking about COVID-19. When integrity goes out the window.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But the reason they lose that home game as a rule is to provide people with more opportunity to go and watch. That's off the table now. So therefore the circumstances are changing.
Yeah, but that's the ethical there's nothing ethical about anything. Now, there's no fairness in the system. Now, Essendon are playing a home game against GWS this Sunday at 6 o'clock up there in Queensland.
But we know the circumstances surrounding
exactly,
that. So something is precluding them from coming back because they want to have them up there to play teams down the track. There's nothing that's stopping Richmond driving to Geelong to play at GMHBA Stadium.
At some point there must have been an explanation given to Geelong as to why the game is not going to be played.
As I understand, it's the commercial obligations
to the MCG.
And
that's right,
signage.
And their signage. Yeah. Well, is that not the ethical? Isn't the commercial part of the game the ethical part of the game?
But the commercial obligations have been ignored for good reason for the best part of a year.
Mm.
Why is it so damn important now?
I don't know, but I don't think they're going to get an explanation, by the way. Why? Can I just go to have you got another question around that? Okay.
Oh, no, not around that. No.
Okay, around selection. Why have the Dogs gone so big against Melbourne?
Interesting, isn't it? So Josh Shackey comes into the side. So
and they're in. They're actually in the side.
Yeah, they're in. Yeah, that's right. Yep. So Shackey is in. Now you've got Bruce, you've got Norton, you've got Shackey, you've got Jamara Ugle-Hagan, and you've got Tim English.
Mm. And you've got Hannon came in as well.
Mitch Hannon's a forward.
But he's not a small. He doesn't play like a small forward.
Libba has come in.
Yeah, that's okay in the midfield.
Harms has come in for Libba. Does Harms go to Libba? That was the big move. Remember last time?
Yes, and did a good job.
Would you do that again if you were Melbourne?
Yeah, worked last time.
Yeah, I don't. So, do you see that as experimental? Would you say that's experimental on behalf of Lukey Beveridge and the Western Bulldogs to say, okay,
maybe there's an injury?
We don't know if this is going to be our best look, but we're prepared to just have a look at it against the top of the table Demons?
Well, maybe they're doing the opposite to what happened against Melbourne last week, and rather than going small, they're going to go tall. Well, maybe they're going to get him in the air.
This is where it's interesting, right? So the area that Melbourne haven't had an issue with is balls in the air. Like going into their back line, into the opposition forward line, because they've got good aerial power. Now, I know Aaron Norton's a whole different proposition, but the problem they had is when the ball got the ground.
Yes.
And against the three losses that they've had, it's been ground ball stuff, it's been small forwards, and it's been pressure in Melbourne's back half, which has been against Hawthorn and against Adelaide, which was, I think, 50-plus points turnovers in their back half. Now, do you get that sort of pressure with Josh Shackey and Jamara and Aaron and Josh?
Mm-mm. I can answer that question for you, what I think anyway, and you don't. You don't actually get that pressure. You're not going to get that pressure from those three players in particular. I mean, Shackey's not a renowned pressure player. Jamara Ugle-Hagan, on what we've seen so far, he's not that
Just
type of
fine on
player.
his feet.
And I don't know whether Hannon is either. I don't know. You might know a bit more about him than I. Is he that type of player?
Yeah, he works
quite a competitive beast like that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So out of their side goes Scott, Crozier, Dunkley, McNeil, and it hasn't really been like type players that have come into that side. So it will be a fascinating. Yeah. Maybe there's some injuries there somewhere. Maybe there's going to be some late outs, whatever it is.
Well, maybe they just want to have a different look, given that they'll probably play each other again in September. So I think that makes it a really interesting game. Some of the other really interesting selections, or the biggest selection news, Cripps comes in, Cunnington's back, Jared Berry's back, Duday's back.
Anderson's back too for North Melbourne. We haven't seen much of him this year.
Yeah, him and Cunnington both chose not to go up last week. This is interesting. Amati is out, the Amati party, who's been playing second ruck and doing a fantastic job, I reckon. And Logan McDonald's back in.
Yes, and McLean too.
That doesn't say injured to Amati, so...
No, maybe they just don't think that he's doing it. Reed's come back in too, though. So you look at the players that they won't line up like that because they're still to settle their 22. But McLean, big. McDonald, big. Reed, big.
That might be a Sean Darcy-inspired... change, although I don't reckon the Swans have changed that much, just for Shawnee Darcy, who's in rare nick, but maybe they feel they need a bit more support in the ruck.
But if it's one out, one in, it's only going to be either McLean or Reed, probably, because Samadi's been doing the backup rucking.
They just squads, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if McDonald comes in, he's not going to do the backup rucking.
No.
It's more likely that it'll be McLean, and Reed has been able to do that in the past for them as well.
Harms Liberatore in, as we said. Henderson and Rowan in for the Cats against the Tigers on Sunday. That's big at the MCG. Dylan Shield in.
Yes, that's a bit of a surprise. That is a bit of a surprise. Oh, yeah, I'm happy for him to be back because he is going to be in the best 22 for the Bombers. And the big surprise up there, though, is that Alex Rance is going to make his debut for Essendon at the weekend. What can you tell us about that? Because you actually led the charge about 18 months ago with this story.
I had someone give me good information that Essendon were very interested in at least trying to twist Alex Rance's arm 18 months ago or 2 years ago to come back and play. It didn't eventuate, but now it looks, Jay-Z Clark's reporting that because the Bombers VFL team, but there's no VFL footy on, is there? Who's he expected to play against?
I'm not sure. But he has had, apparently, a good and close relationship with Ben Rutten in the time that Ben Rutten was at Richmond.
That's what it's reporting. So it's just
He's 31 years of age, okay?
It's
just hypothetically. 31 years of age, he's been out of the game for a couple of years.
I might be right still.
You could still be right.
Lee's on the road. Go, Lee.
Yeah, good morning, boys. Great show as usual.
Thank you.
Just really quick, Tim. The Dogs have actually done what Hawthorn did last week. If you looked at the lineup, Hawthorn played Jekka, Kazitsky and Mitch Lewis forward, all 195 plus. And down back they went with DGB, Hannington and Frosty, all 195 plus. And the one thing that was really evident was the Hawthorn boys, once out of position, never tried to mark. All they were instructed to do was bring the ball to ground. And there's no doubt the smaller blokes at both ends of the ground actually created havoc for Melbourne. So when I saw the Dogs lineup last night, I was very curious.
Okay, so they're going to stay at home, Hawthorn Forge stayed at home last week, yes?
Yeah, Lee's point is really well made. But
it was. Well done, Lee.
I think the query is, though, Lee, you can do that with 3. When you got 4, then you start to worry about sort of pressure in your forward half and ability to put heat on. So that is the only curiosity. The 3 is absolutely fine for the reasons that Lee says and everyone else. Of course, you've got to be competitive in the air against May, Lever and Petty. But it's the forward pressure that caused the turnovers that got the 50-odd points that those two teams got.
Yeah, probably a critical time in Shacky's career too. If
one last look, maybe.
Well, no, I don't know if it's one last look, but he actually now has to start to nail a team. In the time that he's been there, Norton's come on as a forward. Bruce, they recruited Bruce there. Now we've got Jamara Ugle-Hagan as well. So he has to really start to stand up and show something.
I'm going to do a bit more homework on this Alex Rance and who they're playing. If they're playing Southport on the Gold Coast, Essendon, is he able to get up there or is he already up there?
No, he's already there.
Oh, he's already there.
Yes,
Thank you very much. Yeah. There you go. Well, that makes sense. Let's take a break. Maxie, hold on the line, mate. We'll get to you in a moment. The 7-seat Kia Sorrento has just been crowned Drive Car of the Year.
I want to ask you about Mark Murphy too when we come back. A big question about Mark Murphy.
A big one.
A huge question about Mark Murphy.
The Country is back racing strong. Book now at country.racing.com. Kogan credit cards, no annual fees, amazing rewards and complimentary Kogan First membership.
Breakfast with Gary Lyon and Tim Watson.
One of the great swims of all time. Kieran Perkins, forget the time. This is all about courage.
You are seeing the best of the best. You are a superstar, Kieran Perkins.
Savour the moment, Australia.
And look at Kowalski coming for the silver. Go,
Kowalski
Daniel.
coming after Smith. Will bring Perkins in, about 15 metres to swim. This is rare gold. The best kind of gold. Perkins goes in first. What a great win.
Duncan, don't jump over Dennis when he's about to put the soundbite down. That was a great moment.
Great call.
It was a great call.
That was a great call.
A lot of thoughts
what a great
on
talent he
the
is.
Western Bulldogs tools. One of them will go back. Josh Shackey's been playing back, so maybe they'll try him back. Fletch reckons Leither might actually have to play on someone. Have I thought about that? Gary will reduce his intercept. We're going to see how great this Melbourne backline really is after they've been pumped up. That is true, Fletch. They have managed to beat the 5 or 6 top teams, so it sort of it seems. How many times have we heard that? Every time they played one of those top teams. Righto, we'll find out how good they are.
And?
They win.
Yep, they do. Hey,
Righto,
Max.
we'll find out how good they are.
Hey, can I just mention this quickly too? The Dick Reynolds Club luncheon has been cancelled. Yes,
big lunch.
It was going to be a massive lunch there on August 4th. The RACV
Who's
Club.
hosting?
Obviously, because of COVID-19, it has to have been cancelled. So there will be communication coming your way if you've already paid and that type of thing. The club will be in touch with you, and hopefully it will be rescheduled at some stage.
Who was hosting?
It was going to be an absolute beauty.
Who's hosting?
I don't
Old
know.
mate Wispy.
Yes.
Max is in Williams Landing. Good morning, Max.
Good morning, boys. I just wanted to find out about a couple of players, Patrick Lipinski, Mitch Wallace, and Tom Mitchell. Now, I'm a Carlton member, and I wanted to know whether it was worth having for them to have a look at Lipinski, Wallace, and Tom Mitchell.
Well, Tom Mitchell, I think they're all having a look at Tom. Do you keep hearing Tom Mitchell might still be on the move at the end of this year?
I haven't heard that, no. But
Okay.
I haven't really been asking around.
Yeah, no, I heard, and I think there was a story might have been written at one stage that Carlton were very, very interested in.
He'd fit in perfectly at Carlton.
Yep. I'm sure people will look at Wallace, and I'm sure people will look at Lipinski as well. Lipinski's an interesting player because he hasn't been able to nail a regular spot for the Bulldogs.
So do you think there'll be buyers for him?
I think so because of the athleticism that he has. There's a lot of, I think the gaps in his game and the reasons why he's not playing at the Bulldogs will be the same reasons that probably just cause others to hit the pause button, and he'll need to improve in all those areas. But I think everybody will have a look at him, yeah.
Ugo Hagen was 6 in the draft, combine 20-metre sprint. Ugo Hagen not quick. Gary, do your homework. J-Dog, clean your ears out. I didn't say he wasn't quick. Talking about forward pressure.
Yeah.
Forward
Got nothing to do with
pressure, you know.
speed. Got nothing to do with speed, Joey.
You can be Usain Bolt if you haven't got... And this is not judging him. He's in his infancy. He will, or hopefully will, become a good forward pressure player. But right now, don't think it's absolutely at the top of his priorities, but he'll get there.
There you go. Can confirm that Shackey will be playing across half-back. Cheers.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah,
there's an insight for you.
Good info out there. He might be able to play on Ben Brown, maybe.
Maybe Ben Brown
plays high.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, no, he does. They've had a look at him at VFL level, so maybe that is a possibility too.
It's a good idea if indeed that is what is going to happen, and our audience has great intel. Then that's great. That's fantastic because it's an area where everyone has been there saying they're susceptible, but the numbers don't back that up. Their backline's been really good, but a 6'6" backman is always going to be of some value. So let's find out if Josh Shackey, maybe that's their thinking. And that starts to make good sense to me if that is in fact what happens.
We have talked about this before, but it's getting closer to the end of the season. Carlton can still make the finals, of course, 5 rounds to go. But Mark Murphy,
oh yes,
the 300 game, are you of the view that Carlton should try and get him to 300 games?
So what's he on right now?
I'm not sure exactly what he's very close. I think is he 2 or 3 games short of 300?
I thought it was a bit more than that. I thought he might. The fact that they haven't picked him this week.
Our Carlton man will tell you because he's onto this.
He's on 296 games.
There you go, 4 games.
So there's 4 games left.
And there's 5 games in the regular season left.
He's not playing this week.
And he's not playing this week.
So he has to play every game.
After this weekend, yeah.
Good question. Do you play him every game? If they're still in contention, right? If they win today, on the weekend, so there's still, this outside hope. Do you play Mark Murphy to get him to 300?
You know what? I love the emotion and the tradition, all that sort of stuff. But if he's not in their best team and they're still alive and they're still, struggling to make up the bottom positions in the 8, no, you don't.
Medi-sub, maybe.
Maybe
limp him to the line.
Would
that detract from the 300?
No, it wouldn't. Overall, it wouldn't, because you're going to look at the number overall. But you would think that he sat down at the beginning of the year with David Teague and had a conversation around this, though, too, because it was always going to be a discussion at some stage.
The calf injuries made it,
yeah, and his form wasn't that great either.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. He'd been dropped, and he'd been a medi-sub, and then the calf comes along at the wrong time. You're still alive, albeit, it's a slim one. There's 4 games to go.
Is it just a number after all? Do we get too bogged down thinking about these milestone games?
I don't. I think 300's more than just a number. I think 300's pretty damn special, don't you? But not enough to throw your whole team structure
But you play,
out.
This is the thing though, like when you really analyse this, you're talking about playing a team game, aren't you?
Yeah.
We all understand that. When we come into this game, it is not about self. It is always about team, and team has to be put above self. And it's hard maybe to look at it that way sometimes. And it wouldn't be so much about, I don't think it would be so much about him playing the 300 games. It would be all the other things that you wrestle with when you get into the twilight of your career, and that is that your career might be over as much as whether you get to the 300 games or you don't get to the 300 games.
I agree with you. I think you play it on merit. I think you play it on merit.
I think you have to.
Particularly at this stage and where they're at. So if he ends up to it, it would be. I'm not heartless. If he ended on 298 or 299, that'd be bloody hard for him. But he would. I reckon if he was in the studio sitting here right now, he would agree and say, "No, I've got to earn my spot."
But I don't know. When you look back on your career, I don't know how many games you played. It was 200 and how many?
My 226.
Yeah. But does it worry you that you didn't get to 250? Or
no, I never worried about it.
Do you look back and think about how many games you played, or do you look back at your career and think about what it was that you achieved outside the number of games you played?
No, 100% never worried about how many games I played. But if I got to 296, then I'd be thinking, you'd have to be thinking about 300. You got there.
Yeah, but it wasn't a carrot for me to play on.
No, it's not the
only. It's
not the only carrot. But once you get within, the eye line of the finishing line.
I don't think about the games, though. I always think about the success that we had as a team. The years that we won premierships and, the time you spent with people and all that type of thing. But I never think about the actual number of games I played.
No, that's true. We're here for Kogan Credit Cards, no annual fees, amazing rewards. Country Racing Vic, back where we belong. Great to have them back on board. Country Racing Strong, book online. Lauren Jackson, Aaron Royal, Tracy and Peter Mackay still to come.
How are you, Laurie? How you feeling? That was a mate, he's done it. He's done it, mate. You beauty. Laurie, how do you feel, mate? How do you feel, Laurie? We did it again, mate. We did it again. Lucky lane 6. Lucky lane 6. Can you talk now, mate? How do you feel? Mate, we just beat 3 world record holders. How do you think I feel? How do you think I...
How do you swim that day, Laurie?
For our young audience that might not understand any of that audio, that is a guy called Laurie Lawrence, who is a great character and a swimming coach of Duncan Armstrong in this instance, who won the 200 metres. That was Stephen Quartermain going down onto the pool deck or near enough to interview him, and Laurie slapped him around the head. He got that excited. He clipped Quarters around the ears. Iconic vision, that is. Michael's in Collingwood. G'day, Michael.
G'day, fellas. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I'd like to see Mark Murphy get to his 300th. I mean, I know, following football for a long time, he resisted a lot of big offers to move, and I'm sure he also played when he didn't want to, play when he was injured, etc., or had some family dramas or things, but they put football first. And I think they should really carry him over the line. The supporters would like to see it anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. I absolutely am certain they would. I'm told Wayne Campbell, he played 297 games, never got there.
No, that's right. There are others that got very close to miles. I think Leopard, he spoke about it. I heard him talking about this on Jerry Waitley's program too. Darren, thanks for your call, Michael. Darren's in South Morang. Good morning, Darren.
G'day, boys. How you going?
Good, Darren.
I think some of the feeling last night when we saw the team was that he's been named as an emergency, so he might be the sub, which means he gets a game closer. But there was also a Twitter poll during the week with a lot of Carlton people involved in it, and 89% said that they wanted Carlton to try and get in the 300. So Murph's been a warrior for our club. He's been absolutely awesome. He stayed with us through thick and thin. I just think that Carlton need to do the right thing by him.
All right, good on you, Dazzler. It's an interesting conundrum they're faced with. 227 games, Lepper, so he must have been talking about...
I think he was talking about milestone games and Lee Matthews' attitude towards milestone games.
Very, very, very good. Carlton supporters, I'm sure that he's been with them throughout.
Through thick and thin, yeah. That's true. That's true. But then where they're at right now, apart from the medical sub, which they can do, obviously they can carry him to 300 games. But apart from that, like they're on, like they win again this weekend, and obviously they play North Melbourne. That's a very winnable game. They've got winnable games right up to the end. They can be up to their ears in finals still this year, and then. The conversation obviously is still around the emotion of playing Mark Murphy and whether or not he's in the best side or not. But you would think David Teague, they would have sat down, Gary. If you've got a good communication, a line of communication with your senior players, and every year you're coming up, you're going to have that conversation around, okay, well, look, at some stage this year, your form may not warrant being selected. Are you comfortable? Are you happy to go into another season with that at the back of your mind?
Yep.
And player then has the choice.
I get it. I'm with you. I hear you. Yeah, voice of reason, as always. Don't forget the caller of the year could win a 2021 Toyota Hilux Rugged X. That's $75,000 worth. Toyota certified pre-owned vehicle certainly is a great feeling. Harry Mackay and Ben Mackay, we spoke about this yesterday. It's one of the fascinations of this weekend's round of footy. The two twins, both great characters in their own right. We've spoken to both of them. They've got a nice little bit of mischief about them, I reckon.
Yep.
They're going to be playing on each other on the weekend. We put in requests to speak to both of them, but I don't know if they've been locked down by their clubs. But
I think we've done better than that, though.
We've done better. We've got Mum and Dad, Tracy and Peter, who are going to join us next.
The country is back racing strong. Book now at country.racing.com. Kogan credit cards, no annual fees, amazing rewards and complimentary Kogan First membership.
Breakfast with Gary Lyon and Tim Watson.
I know we've played the best defender, best forward, guys, so I probably won't. Probably Levi, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to steal his gag, but Robbie Tarrant, usually, I think in the past I've played on Robbie, and I would say he's the number one defender at North, so maybe I'll pencil in a match up with Robbie.
That's the two boys. This is why we love both of them, and we love the fact that they're going to play on each other, that they've both got good sense of humour, a nice bit of swagger, and that's a bit of back and forward between the two of them on our station. So leave those two boys alone to prepare for what's going to be a big weekend. It can't be any bigger than it is for Mum and Dad. I know you've experienced this with Obi-Jobi-One Kenobi as a father, you and Susie, watching one son play.
Tough.
Can you imagine what it'd be like watching twins running around with?
I can't imagine what it would be like.
Well, let's go to the Mum and Dad. Peter and Tracy Mackay being good enough to join us from down in Warragul. G'day and good morning to you both.
Morning, gents.
Morning.
Hey, this is great. We love the fact that you've been good enough to join us. How are you going to be when these two boys, let's just say, Tracy, that you're watching the game. I guess you won't be able to be there, so you have to watch it on telly. And all of a sudden there's Harry takes up the position in the goal square and chucks his chest out and flexes his muscle, and then Ben comes running down, and then you go, what now? What? Can you talk us through what you think will happen?
Well, I've already told them, Gary, that they're not allowed to punch each other. The umpire will be watching, and there is a tribunal if they go too far. So they've got to behave. They've got to be tough competitors, but fair with each other. And I'll be a nervous wreck, I'm sure.
So have you, Peter and Tracy, have you tossed a coin and decided, okay, I'm going to barrack for Harry today, and you barrack for Ben? How's it work?
No, very much Switzerland, Tim.
Yeah.
Neutral. So I was just thinking that Mr. and Mrs. King have got it relatively easy, in that Max can kick 4 and Ben can kick 4, and they've both had a good day and contributed to their teams. But when Ben's job is to keep Harry to no touches, no score. It's a bit hard to come out with an equal winner there. So
they both started off as forwards, though, didn't they? So did you try giving David Noble a call and saying, listen, can you switch him to the other end of the ground so we don't have to go through this for a couple of hours?
Yeah, look, that would be nice, and I'm a bit flat that Robbie Tarrant is out as well, Tim, because I thought Robbie might go and wrestle with Harry for a little while before Ben was introduced, but now with Robbie not there, there's no place to hide for the two of them.
No, there's no middle ground. This matchup is on. Tracy, tell me, yesterday I haven't got twins, obviously. I've got twin nieces. I've watched them grow up. I sort of posed the question, is there a dominant twin between the two of them? Could you answer that for us?
They're actually mirror image twins, so they're left hand, right hand, and they're kind of the opposite to each other. So they complement each other is the nice way to put it. So rather than one being more dominant, I guess Harry's probably a bit more outgoing, Ben's a bit more reserved. But I don't know, Pete, are they?
Because Ben's about 35 seconds older, Gary, he seems to be the more paternal of the two, a bit more protective of his brother, the senior member of the twinship, and Harry's a bit like Prince Harry. He's a bit more footloose and fancy free.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Well, I believe that you dressed them identically when they were kids. So is there a chance that they'll is there a chance that they'll both step out in Carlton jumpers or both step out in North Melbourne jumpers this weekend?
Well, they both used to wear Essendon jumpers.
Oh, did they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did. We were all big Essendon fans back in the day. You were one of my favourite players, actually, when I was a kid.
Oh, Tracy.
You must have a good memory.
You didn't have the 32 on the duffel coat, did you, Trace?
No, I just had, not quite that. Not quite.
Couldn't afford a duffel coat.
What about, so they've played all their footy together, clearly, right from early on, or all their sport together. I mean, what was the earliest memories of them playing together as a duo?
We were lucky enough to have a few acres out on the property in Longwarry when the kids first grew up, and we had a paddock out the front, and Pete put goalposts out there, so there wasn't a day that they weren't out there with the football, fighting each other as much as kicking the ball, I guess.
Spent many an hour over many a weekend, over many a year, standing at one end, kicking the ball to both the boys, and they showed signs early on. They had very good hand-eye coordination, and I used to come in and say to Tracy, my goodness, those blokes have got some skill for their age, and they carried that on into their junior football. They were midfielders that just run and carried the ball, and like a lot of twins, they just knew where each other were, and they'd always kick the ball out and find one of each other and share the ball. But lot of skill early on, and I'm not sure that we'd be sitting here talking to you blokes if they only grew to be 6'2", to be honest with you. But at 2 metres tall, they're...
Oh, I think they might have they got some things going for them. Hey, when you're having that kick out the front, was Harry kicking round the corner, or was he kicking drop punts?
Well, I must apologise to Carlton supporters, Gary, in that I'm not the handiest on the tools, and I mightn't have measured the distance between the posts or the depth, so it may well have been impossible to kick a straight goal from the front paddock in Longwarry, and thus perhaps kicking round the corner was a necessity.
Do you hear a lot from the two boys? Is one more in touch with you and more communicative than the other?
No, they're both really good, actually. Yeah, we've got a family WhatsApp that keeps us all entertained if we can't see each other. But the boys are relatively regular in contact before or after a game. I guess they generally touch base with you, Pete.
And how close? How close are they? The twins. We hear all different stories about twins and how close they are growing up and that type of thing. Are they really close, the two?
I keep telling them, Tim, that they'll be best mates one day. I'm starting to lose a little bit of hope. Early on, they were very close. Going to school, going to kinder, going to parties. They always were each other's shadows, and then. About the age of 10, they started sledging each other in cricket parlance, and from then on, it was like I felt like an umpire, a referee. From the time they got out of bed to the time they went to bed at night, it was, no, mate, you've got him high there, going for the milk at the 2-minute morning out. You go, no, Harry, you've caught in possession of Ben's bag, put it down in the corner. It was just full-on niggling, as most siblings would do, but You say they sound like fun, boys. You try living with them for 10 years.
Well, I was going to ask Tracy, what about feeding them? Were they good on the fang?
The food bill was enormous. They were never full, always an empty, always wanting more.
They're only 2 of 4 children, our lovely daughter Hannah and our youngest son Charlie. Well, Hannah became a vegetarian about the age of 6 because...
No point trying to get me.
Just gone off the plate.
There's a couple of bones left by the time she got there.
Young Charlie was emancipated.
We didn't realise how big Charlie could grow until they left.
Hey, the picture you're painting of them, though, because everybody's sort of been speculating about, how competitive might they be in this matchup. What you're actually saying to us this morning, though, it's going to be on for young and old when these two match up against each other this weekend.
I think they'll do the right thing by each of their teams and concentrate on the game.
I don't want to paint the wrong picture, Tim, but they are gentle giants to a large extent.
But super competitive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, their eyes glaze over when it comes to competing against each other, unfortunately.
Sure,
we are looking forward to it. You two have been an absolute delight. We can see where they get their great sense of humour from. I can't imagine how difficult it's going to be, particularly given you can't get there, but we wish you both well. Hopefully, Harry kicks 5, Ben has 10 intercept marks, and it's a draw. That'd be the best result for you.
That's a great result.
Something like that would be
that'd work for us.
Thanks for your interest, guys.
Good on you.
Thank you for having us.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. What a great delight they are. Peter and Tracy Mackay. They got Harry. They got the twin boys playing. You can't go there. That's the bummer. They can't go and watch. So they'll have to sit there and tell you. But they sound like a lot of fun. And we can see where both Harry and Ben get their sense of humour from. They're here for Keezer, struggling with back pain. Now's the time for Keezer, now open in Mornington and Ocean Grove. And a lot of love for that interview too. We'll put that up on our socials, our websites, our Twitter page. Where else do we put it?
Everywhere.
We'll just put that up everywhere.
Up on our billboards.
Billboards.
Our billboards.
We'll be back after this.
The Country is back racing strong. Book now at country.racing.com. Kogan credit cards, no annual fees, amazing rewards and complimentary Kogan First membership.
Breakfast with Gary Lyon and Tim Watson.
Well, I tell you what, Wisp, I don't know how much longer we are for our job as breakfast hosts here at SEN Radio, but Harry and Tracy, breakfast with Harry and Tracy.
Or Peter and Tracy or Harry and Tracy?
I said, give me the name, Peter. SEN Breakfast with Peter and Tracy. What about the love for Peter and Tracy that's coming through?
They were great.
The best interview of 2021. What a fantastic family. One of my favourite interviews you boys have ever done. Great laughs. I enjoyed that interview. That's Kaz from Kilmore also wants to throw a support behind Mark Murphy to get him to 300. There's a lot of engagement this morning. It's great.
I'm going to make a decision on our behalf, and that is from now on, we will not speak to players. We're only going to speak to their parents. So if we can't get a parent or both parents on, we won't talk to any member of the family, okay?
Say that again.
We won't be talking to players anymore. We won't be doing any more player interviews. We'll only be talking to members of their family. What about that?
SEN Breakfast with Tracy and Peter.
What about
from Warrigal?
What about Tracy and Gary? That sounds good.
Peter, 3. Peter, Gary and Tracy.
Yeah, Pete, Gary and Tracy.
And the Wisp from Glen Maggie. You could go and do the show at Warrigal.
You know what?
Just come down from the mountains.
I think Warrigal's probably close to the wettest place in Victoria. It is always raining around there at Warrigal. Always.
We answer questions here. It doesn't matter what it is. You send them through. We'll try and answer them. What happened to 360 last night? 360's not on Thursday nights. AFL 360's only a Monday to Wednesday.
Since when?
All year.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that. Are you back on 360 next week?
Yep. I think so.
And yesterday I spoke to you about the Bucks thing at Fox. Any feedback on that?
Not sure you're on the money there. What are you nodding your head for?
Because I am on the money.
Well, no one followed that up. Not one person followed up. Have you lost your cut through?
No, I don't.
Can you hear me back?
I don't care whether it's reported or not. I'm just telling you I'm on the money.
Another winner for pants last week, the trots.com.au. Every race live and free. Special at Kilmore tomorrow night. Race 10, number 1, Nikki Louise. Kate Gath in the gig. trots.com.au, every race live and free, lap up the trots.
And he'll be taking over your spot on the couch.
Oh, and I'll be taking over your job reading the news.
Well, good luck to you.
The country is back racing strong. Book now at country.racing.com. Kogan credit cards, no annual fees, amazing rewards and complimentary Kogan First membership.
Breakfast with Gary Lyon and Tim Watson.
Hey, it's great to have you with us on this very, very historic day. It's opening ceremony of the Olympics. I know we've got some sport that's already been played. Our Olyroos were magnificent against Argentina. We've had wins from the Matildas. Our softball team fought back and hit back hard and had a win. But it all kicks off tonight in absolute earnest, of course, and it's a great thrill. We can go to Tokyo live now and speak to Aaron Royal, who is taking place in the men's triathlon. It takes place on Monday. He's just jumped off the bike, Wisp. I think he may have had his first look at the course. Good morning to you, Aaron.
Morning, guys. How you going?
We're going really well here. We're excited about what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. You've had a look at the course and had a look at the bike course for the first time. What did you make of it?
Yeah. Well, we did have our test event here in 2019, but obviously that was 2 years ago now. So I guess this morning was a bit of a refresher and just going over things that we've learnt from that first race. But it's definitely starting to feel real now. The buzzes, the hype around all the athletes is real.
And the heat, Aaron, are you concerned about the heat and the humidity over there?
Well, I wouldn't say concern's the right word. Obviously, you've got to respect it, and it will definitely play a factor in the race results and those that have prepared well enough for it. But as Australians, you would think that we should be we should be well prepared for that. I'd hope anyway. But for sure, it's going to be a factor in how the race plays out.
Hey, Aaron, where have you done all your pre-Olympic training?
So I was in Australia until May this year, and then we went over to Europe and did our last qualification races, then was up in the French Pyrenees at altitude, and then came down to Girona in Spain to get the last little bit of heat before we jumped over here and got into Japan. And I think it was a good preparation over there. It's hard to replicate the sort of humidity and heat that you get here, but we definitely did our best.
The triathlon takes place on Monday. What time of the morning does it kick off at?
For Eastern Australian time, it's so for you guys in Melbourne, 7:30 in the morning. So 6:30 for us.
Okay, and what is the strongest part of the triathlon for you? Swim, bike, run?
For sure the swim. That's where I grew up doing the swim as a youngster, and then got into running after that. I feel much more natural in the water than I do on land.
Are you worried about the water conditions? We've been hearing a little bit about the fact that there might have been some foreign bodies that have been sort of floating around in the water there. Are you concerned about that?
Well, if there was, I would be, but that's not what we're hearing. I think, they like to find stories that, might be able to grab a headline, so to speak, and this Olympics, it seems to be the water quality. Last time it was the Zika virus, but look, I just got to take the word from what the World Triathlon and the IOC are saying, and they've been testing the water now for the last little while, and apparently it's been coming back good. So I can see people are swimming in there now, some athletes, because the swim course familiarisation is on now. So maybe if you ask me in a couple of days how those people turned out, I'll be able to tell you a bit more about the water quality. But I think it's going to be hot for sure. We know that the water will be very warm, but they've been treating it. So they've put up 3 barriers or curtains across the corner of the bay that we're swimming in to try and protect, be able to treat the water that we actually swim in. So I think they're doing everything they can to make sure that it's healthy and safe for us.
Well, Gary, he's a member of the royal family. He wouldn't be worried about the King Henrys, would he, Aaron?
He's a royal family member, that's right. I call him Bugsy. We can call you Bugs. That's your nickname, isn't it, there, Bugsy?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, good spot. Yeah. Well, I don't even know how. My mum used to call me Buggelugs.
Yeah.
And my coach, when I was like 13 or 14 at the time, called my house phone when people didn't have mobile phones, and they called house phones and said, can I speak to Aaron? And Mum's like, yeah, Bugs, I'll put him on. And so it sort of stuck from there. I've actually got a running Bugs Bunny tattoo on my rib, so I've got it for life.
Well, that's good, Bugsy. So now listen, you've been at the 2016 Rio Games where you finished 9th. What's, of course, our great hope is that you got a gold medal around your neck by the end of Monday. What's your expectation?
Yeah. I think overall we've got an Australian, very, very strong Australian side in both the males, females, and the mixed relay, which is a new event at this Olympics. So you've got female, male raced in a relay as well. So yeah, we've got a very strong chance. Personally, I know it's a little bit cliche, but I just want to cross that line, giving absolutely everything that I've got. Which if I can do that, then I have to be happy with whatever result that is. So I know it's a little bit cliche.
No, that'll do us.
So you're just going to go out there and win, but that's. Yeah.
We love a cliche, Aaron. We're talking Aaron Royal, who's going to compete for Australia in the triathlon on Monday morning over there in Tokyo. How many other Australians are in your race, Aaron? And do you race together as a team?
Yeah, I think this Olympics will be a bit more on that way of racing, a bit more like with a team tactics. Not so kind of like they do in cycling in the Tour de France, but maybe not to that sort of level. But we have 3 males. That's the maximum quota one country can have at the Olympics. So myself, Matthew Hauser, his first Olympics from the Gold Coast, and Jake Birtwistle from Launceston in Tassie will toe the line. And yeah, I think, like I said, we've got a really, really strong team. Jake Birtwistle has shown in the last couple of years he's one of the best with winning a few World Series races. So I think amongst us, we can make sure that we work together, definitely not work against each other, and that's maybe where we've sort of fallen down a little bit in the past, where each athlete has different strengths and to the other, and obviously in a multi-event like triathlon, swim, bike and run, if you're sort of working against each other, you might hamper each other's chances of performing well. So I think that's the best way to answer is that we're here to work
as a team
and make sure we get a good outcome for Australia. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We're hearing exactly what you're saying there, Bugs. Hey, good luck. We've been talking to a couple of different people throughout the course of the week, and you're now part of our team. So we'll be cheering on Monday morning and watching with a great deal of interest. So good luck.
Yeah, no, cheers. Appreciate that. Thanks for the chat.
Good Aaron. Go Bugsy.
That's Aaron Bugsy Royal, who's live in Tokyo, just got off the bike. Obviously, the swimming is the stronger part of his setup, but we'll be right behind him. Aaron was here for Keys, struggling with back pain. Now's the time for Keys. Are now open in Mornington and Ocean Grove. And I like the fact he got the nickname. Then he got the Bugs Bunny on his ribs.
Yes.
You've got the Wisp. Is there any chance
on the where?
You could get it
on
the ribs?
There's no way like
a
tattoo.
A bit of wispy cacao grass or something, just in the wind.
No, there'll be no tattoos.
Donnie, thanks for your feedback on the interview. We don't know much about the triathlon, but we're happy to support our great athletes over there, so appreciate your feedback.
The Country is back racing strong. Book now at country.racing.com. Kogan credit cards, no annual fees, amazing rewards and complimentary Kogan First membership.
Breakfast with Gary Lyon and Tim Watson.
On SEN, questions without notice. For Charlie Battisti & Co. Melbourne's finest facility for the repair of prestige German vehicles. Get your repair process started.
Lauren Jackson to join us at about 8:40. Big round of AFL starts tonight. Port Adelaide take on Collingwood at the Marvel Stadium. It is, because Port Adelaide was supposed to be playing at the home of footy over there in Adelaide. But circumstances bring them over here. They get to choose. They say Marvel's probably less of an advantage for Collingwood. So Trav Boak will play in front of an empty crowd, 300 games. Sad, but that's just the way it is. Earlier start tonight too, given the situation with the Olympics.
7:10?
Make sure you know that. So it's a time that should be starting every Friday night.
Excellent start.
We've been on this for a long, long time. 7:10 tonight. What time's the opening ceremony get underway then?
About 8:30 or something. Is that right or not?
So is the football? I'm not being a smarty pants, so don't take this personally. I know you can get snitchy when I ask questions like this. Is the football on the main channel tonight, or is it on 7-8 or 7-2 or 7+?
I can't answer that question. I'm assuming it's on the main channel, but maybe it's not on the main channel.
Well, you'd have the Olympic opening on the main channel, wouldn't you?
Yes, but the footy will start before the Olympics.
Yeah, Okay. I should have done some homework.
You should have, yes.
Well, you should know, probably. But can we please find out what time the opening ceremony is on tonight and what channel, please? Thank you. So Richmond
That's
and...
not very nice. Jackie Felgate should do the 7. Well, Jackie Felgate does the sports report on Channel 7.
Well, that's a bit nasty, that
That's
person.
very nasty.
Gee,
Why is it that people are nasty like that? Do they think
that
that you and
gonna
I? Do they think that you and I don't have feelings?
Is that going to make that person feel better for the Friday? He could send one in saying, Wisp, you're hopeless, get off. Jackie Felgate should be on.
Yeah, that's just that's bullying me. That's what it is. Hey, Phil Davis was on Channel 7 News last night.
Here we go.
I want to play you this, okay? This is what a surgeon said to him because he got a knock on the kidney. He missed a lot of footy. This is what the surgeon said to him back in 2014 after that incident.
This bloke walked in, just looked at my chart and said, we're just going to have to take that out, not realising anything. I gave him a piece of my mind. He was much more composed and said, we'll give it every chance. And fortuitously, by doing that, the second surgery fixed the problem and stopped the bleeding.
There you go. So the surgeon comes in, has a look at his chart, looks at the injury, okay, the extent of the damage and says, oh, no, that's got to come out. Phil says, no way, Barley. No, Barley on that, Charlie. It's not coming out. It's going to stay in there. And lo and behold, he recovers and he's still got all his kidneys intact.
Well, name and shame that surgeon that just wanted to rip the kidney out. He must have dinner to get to. All eyes on Tokyo. I'll read this out, since you're not prepared. The opening ceremony at 8:30, hosted by Bruce McAvaney. The opening ceremony is free and in HD on 7 and 7 Plus, the only place to see it all, which leaves the football on 7 Mate. But Fox Footy will have it in HD. And you see Garrity. What do you got that look on your face for?
I'm not even going to respond to that.
What? I'm doing you a favour.
What are you doing me a favour for?
I'm telling Pete, the listening audience, where they can watch it on free-to-air if they don't have Fox Footy. You didn't tell us.
No, I'm doing other stuff. That's why I'm trying to get the show back on track and doing other stuff, and I'm looking for things that I need to talk to you about. That's all.
Someone says
so. The footy tonight. You're going to find that on 7 Mate. There you go, and it starts at 7:10.
Maybe this person says the footy's on Channel 7 till 8:30, and then you've got to switch over to 7 Mate. That sounds a bit clunky to me.
Well, that's what I thought it was, but you've just read that out and said that that's not the case.
Geez, I don't work there. Find out.
Well, you went and got the.
I've got it right here.
Well, Trentos, hang on a minute. Hang on. Hey, I'm just getting a tweet. I'm just getting a text message from my boss at Channel 7. Footy on 7 in Melbourne from 7 p.m. Switches to 7 Mate at 8:30 during halftime, which is exactly what I thought. Funky. Opening ceremony on 7 from 8:30. There you go.
So you got half a footy into the opening ceremony.
That's right. So you get the first half of the game on 7, and then you switch to 7 Mate at halftime. You get the second half of the game if you still want to watch it, depending on the score at halftime. And then the opening ceremony will be on 7 from 8:30 p.m. And up will pop Bruce.
They'll be fumbling around trying to find which AV button they push to find that other channel. Or you could have Fox Footy for the whole thing. Options, that's what we've got, Tim. Don't give me the cat's bum face.
I'd just be checking the status of your contract at the moment with Bucks moving over there to Fox. I'm not sure the place is big enough for the pair of you.
No, it's not. I'll be taking out the trash.
And we're just having a bit of fun. That's
right. Yeah, we are. What about Geelong Richmond on Sunday at the MCG?
Yes.
Is there any chance the Tigers can beat the Cats?
Of course they can.
Rowan and Henderson back into the side.
Yeah, of course they can.
No Dusty.
They can. They were great. They were fantastic. They were back to their very, very best in all the most important areas against the Brisbane Lions last weekend. And then there's a very, very important game. The last game of this round is a really, really, really important game. Essendon hanging by a thread in the 8th. The Giants, they're up against the Giants at about a 6:10 start. Is that one on Sunday?
It's a busy, full calendar of footy this weekend. So 6 o'clock on Sunday night, you'll get that one on Fox Footy.
That's right.
And so I was accused of being cocky yesterday because I hadn't had a good look at the ladder. So let me just have a good look at the ladder.
That's right.
The Bombers are inside the 8, of course, Wispy.
And you'll get the footy live and free. Free is the important thing on Channel 7 tonight.
You won't get that message from your boss, did you?
You won't get sent an invoice in any stage.
Let me tell you what happened.
You just get it free.
Wispy just got a message saying, damn, I'll give that smart aleck one amount that we get it for free. You do. You get it for free.
FR.
Yeah. You get a lot of ads, but you get it for free. Essendon are 8th. The GWS Giants are 12th.
That's right.
But there's only 2 points that separate them, but a good, healthy percentage. So the Giants need to win to get themselves back up into a contention. And Matt from Noosa says, you're a flog, Gary.
You're a flog.
You people.
Well, I'm glad you're a flog because I was a flog before. No, I was a flog before from somebody.
Personal feelings, and I hope that makes you feel better. I hope that gives you a good day, Matt. I hope it starts. I know people in Noosa at the moment, Matt. Chase you down.
We feel like a punching bag in here some mornings, don't we?
Hey, we do. We do indeed.
Hey, what else have you got? Have you got any more questions without notice for me? Hey, what about Giannis Antetokounmpo, who went through the chicken driveway or drive-through and ordered 50 chicken nuggets?
Yes.
Not 49, Gary. Not 51. He wanted the 50. Why did he want the 50?
Because he scored 50 points.
There you go.
Yep, he did indeed. Are you worried about, we spoke about this earlier, are you worried about the Ashes and whether or not the English team will come? And if, in fact, they come, they'll come for the whole period of time. Do you think it's under some sort of threat?
Yeah, it is. It has to be. It has to be. Obviously, it depends upon what the outbreak of COVID is across the country. Currently, it would be almost impossible. In fact, it would be impossible for them right now to stage the Ashes. Right now, it would be impossible.
Yeah.
But who knows what's going to happen between now and probably late October? Is that the cutoff? When would they arrive? November-ish?
November, yep.
Yeah.
And they stay until, if you play all forms, you'll be here for potentially the best part of 3-4 months.
Would you have a problem? We're talking about actually going into a hub and playing the finals. This is the suggestion. If we were to have COVID restrictions, play maybe the grand final in Perth and everybody go there for a month. Would you have a problem if it was a similar circumstance for the Ashes, that all of the games, the matches, were played at the one venue to decide the Ashes? Would you have a problem with that?
If it was a choice between that and no cricket, no, I wouldn't. I'd put up with that. I just want to see the Ashes. I just want to see the cricket. I mean, can you imagine this summer without the English cricket team coming over?
Okay, we get to choose one wicket across the country to stage the Ashes. Which wicket are you choosing? Which city are you choosing? Which would best suit the Australians?
Well, we had this discussion a little bit last year. Would probably, I don't know, maybe Adelaide.
Why? Isn't that a flat deck?
Well,
why wouldn't you be choosing a wicket that would best suit the Australian bowlers? For goodness' sake.
So you're talking about it.
Oh, what else would I be talking about?
Which wicket is going to be one-sided?
I think we've got a new expert in the cricket area.
Righto.
Old mate.
So what are you saying then? Which wicket
Well, I'm
is
saying the bounciest best wicket that suits our bowlers.
And which is that wicket?
Well, historically it's been Western Australia, but I don't know about the
which
drop-in
wicket in
wicket.
Western Australia?
Well, the whacker was the wicket over there
Right.
because that gave the bounce and it had a bit of greenery and all that sort of,
Of course,
stuff
we
around
don't
it.
play Test cricket.
We have
over
drop-in wickets now.
I don't think we play Test cricket in Western Australia. Only against Afghanistan.
Well, all plans are subject to change. What's our greenest wicket around the country?
Gabba probably is our one where you get the best.
Oh, Gabba it is then.
Green top.
Gabba it is.
And Shane Warne used to love bowling there, so that can help the spinners as well.
Our record at the Gabba against the tourists is the best in the country. Is that right?
First test as a general rule, so we
and that gets you off to a great start. Yeah.
But let's and then you got the Australian Open, the tennis in January as well to think about. At what stage do you start making? You got to have some plans and contingencies in place for the Australian Open as well.
Yeah,
we've lost the Grand Prix. There's no Grand Prix this year. There's no MotoGP. If we lost the Ashes and the Australian, pack up
and go home.
Well, we're the sport. We
I
like to see ourselves as the great sporting.
I know, but let's not be negative about it.
Grand final hasn't been.
Can you go down Positive Street for people are negative enough as it is. They're locked at home. They're in lockdown, and all you're giving them is the bad news this morning. Can you give them some positivity?
Yep. The Olyroos beat Argentina. Have a listen to this call from Speedy.
As King finds Duke chance. Australia ready to shock the world, and it is lucky Wales who turns it home against Argentina. Look at Duke still going, and here's Tillio. Remarkable to make it 2-0 Australia against Argentina. You talk about X Factor. Marco Tillio has it all.
Tillman has got it all. Marco Tillio and Lockie Wales, and that is Brenton Speed, the most versatile sports commentator in the country.
He's great. He is really good. He is very, very good, and getting a lot of support for the Wisp to take over as the cricket commentator on this radio program. Adelaide, Gaz, ? Exclamation mark. Come on, mate. A day-night with pink ball is the best thing with the Poms for Anderson and Broad. We don't want 5 tests there.
Have a day-night
Have
test.
a rethink about that, Gary.
Have a day-night test, then have a day test, then have a twilight, then have an early morning.
Gary, what have you been putting in your pipe and smoking? That's come through loud and clear as well.
No, it hasn't.
You need to change your tobacco, Gary.
That's a complete make-up by the Wisp, who's slowly losing his marbles on Fun Friday. Let's take the news headline. The Crows are having a combined scratch match with Geelong and Richmond Sunday morning at Punt Road for players not selected in the AFL side. So that's a little bit of heads up for those that are wondering what's happening for the players that aren't being running around in the seniors.
Yes, that is
Geelong,
great.
Essendon are playing Southport with Alex Rance potentially in their VFL team.
That's right. At 31 years of age, Gary, is there a chance that he gets a little, you talk about a scratch match, is there a chance that he gets a little bit of an itch this weekend and maybe thinks about coming back and playing next year?
Who knows? Who knows?
Who would know?
It's a nice little fascinating curveball.
What can you tell us about Andy Marr too? I've had a couple of text messages about where's Andy been? Is he okay?
I don't want to talk publicly if I'm out of school, so he's been a bit crook, but I don't. You say it if you want to say it. I don't want to talk.
I don't know anything. No, I don't know anything. I'm just putting it out there.
Oh, well, all we do is hope that he's okay. I think he's going to be back today, we're told. So
yeah, I think he's fine. I think he's fine. He's going to be okay. He and Gazy, by the way, they are doing a program right throughout the Olympics, a late night program. Him and Andrew Gaze, 10:30 each and every night on 7, which I believe is very, very good. So they'll just take a look at all the things. They'll just take a look at everything that's happened during the day.
Are they the new HG and Roy?
He's got a nice contract, hasn't he, Gazy, where he can sort of just float between Fox and Channel 7.
There's only one other.
Has he got one of those passports?
There's only one other I know that's able to do that.
Who's that?
Eduardo.
He can too. Yeah.
You think he must be in that?
He must be in that category.
In that hemisphere of packet.
You've never been able to maintain anything like that, have you?
No.
I don't know of many that can just float through.
Thanks for all the great support too. We're only joking. We've got pretty thick skins here. What's a cat's bum's face? That's when Wispy purses his lips up when he gets a bit narky on me. He goes,
I never get narky. You know I never get narky.
No, we don't. We do not get narky. Hey, we're here for Kogan credit cards, no annual fees, amazing rewards. Country Racing Victoria, back where we belong. Country Racing Strong, book online. Can I do a little straw poll whilst as we go to a break in a minute and get Lauren Jackson up?
Yeah.
What are you watching tonight? Our audience.
Are you asking me the question?
Sports-loving audience like no other that I've come across in my time.
Yeah.
Are you watching the footy until halftime, switching over to the opening ceremony? Are you sticking with the footy all the way through, or are you just going full-on Olympic mode? I'm interested. We know the next 2 weeks are going to be dominated by the Olympics, and rightfully so, but the comp rolls on. I just want to get a bit of a straw poll. I want to get a bit of a feel for what people are going to be doing tonight.
Being a man of the people, I would suggest most people will do this, Gary. They'll sit down and they'll watch the football till half-time. Mm-hmm. If it's engaging, if it's a great game, they'll stick with the footy because they won't be able to look away. But if it's not, then they'll take a peek at Bruce McAvaney in the opening ceremony and probably just go back and forwards a little bit.
All right, that's your thoughts. Let me get the thoughts of the people. Olympics all the way through, footy half, Olympics half, or all footy. They're the three options. Send them through if you want. If you wouldn't mind, I need to pass this back onto the Wisp for his men down at Channel Wisp. Lauren Jackson to join us next.
The country is back racing strong. Book now at country.racing.com. Kogan credit cards, no annual fees, amazing rewards and complimentary Kogan First membership.
Breakfast with Gary Lyon and Tim Watson.
Well, we asked for the view.